Unveiling Strong Delusion, Video 10, Barcelona, the Real Jerusalem. Jerusalem first appears in the Old Testament in Joshua 10:1. As with the Arno River in Italy and the Arnon from the Bible, a biblical river, the Kidron, can help identify Barcelona as Jerusalem. The Bible describes the Kidron as a river by Jerusalem. Kidron, dark, turbid, and dusky. Kidron in Hebrew means dark, turbid, and dusky. See Strong's Hebrew Concordance 6939. Kidron derives from the verb kadar, which means to darken, grow black, mourn, turbid. Strong's Hebrew Concordance 6937. Biblical verses related to the Kidron River have dark and ominous stories and messages. And all the country wept with a loud voice, and all the people passed over. The king also himself passed over the brook Kidron, and all the people passed over toward the way of the wilderness. 2 Samuel 15:23. And David went up by the ascent of Mount Olivet, and wept as he went up, and had his head covered, and he went barefoot, and all the people that was with him covered every man his head, and they went up, weeping as they went up. 2 Samuel 15:30. For it shall be that on the day thou goest out, and passest over the brook Kidron, thou shalt know for certain that thou shalt surely die. Thy blood shall be upon thine own head. 1 Kings 2:37. And also Maacah, his mother, even her he removed from being queen, because she had made an idol in a grove. And Asa destroyed her idol and burnt it by the brook Kidron. 1 Kings 15:13, also 2 Chronicles 15:16. And the king commanded Hilkiah, the high priest, and the priests of the second order, and the keepers of the door, to bring forth out of the temple of the Lord all the vessels that were made for Baal, and for the grove, and for all the host of heaven. And he burned them without Jerusalem in the fields of Kidron, and carried the ashes of them onto Bethel. 2 Kings 23:4. And he brought out the grove from the house of the Lord without Jerusalem onto the brook Kidron, and he burned it at the brook Kidron, and stamped it small to powder, and cast the powder thereof upon the graves of the children of the people. 2 Kings 23:6. Most translations use Asherah or Asherah pole rather than groves. Strong's Hebrew Concordance 842. And the altars that were on the top of the upper chamber of Ahaz, which the kings of Judah had made, and the altars which Manasseh had made in the 2 courts of the house of the Lord, did the king beat down, and break them down from thence, and cast the dust of them into the brook Kidron. 2 Kings 23:12. And the priests went into the inner part of the house of the Lord to cleanse it, and brought out all the uncleanness that they found in the temple of the Lord into the court of the house of the Lord. And the Levites took it to carry it out abroad into the brook Kidron. 2 Chronicles 29:16. And they arose and took away the altars that were in Jerusalem, and all the altars for incense took they away, and cast them into the brook Kidron. 2 Chronicles 30:14. And the whole valley of the dead bodies and of the ashes, and all the fields unto the brook of Kidron, unto the corner of the horse gate toward the east, shall be holy unto the Lord. It shall not be plucked up, nor thrown down any more forever. Jeremiah 31:40. The Kidron in Jesus. When Jesus had spoken these words, he went forth with his disciples over the brook Kidron, where was a garden, into which he entered, and his disciples. John 18:1. The betrayal of Jesus. In the next verse, Judas betrays Jesus, and the crucifixion tale begins. And Judas also, which betrayed him, knew the place, for Jesus ofttimes resorted thither with his disciples. John 18:2. Barcelona has a river whose name means dark and ominous, just like the Kidron River. The Llobregat River, one of the two main sources of water for Barcelona, means dark, muddy, sorrowful. The second longest river in Catalonia, the Llobregat, empties into the Mediterranean Sea in metropolitan Barcelona. The Llobregat River Basin. The Llobregat River and the Besòs River supply Barcelona with its water. The Llobregat River in Barcelona. The Llobregat River flows through a heavily controlled course in Barcelona. This map shows just a part of its course. Another map of its course. Etymology of Llobregat. Documents from the Middle Ages indicate that Llobregat had two similar names, the Rubricatus and the Lubricato. Bofaru literados, Manuel, Orígens del nom geogràfics de Catalunya, pobles, rius, muntanyes, page 135, 2002. Notice the R&L substitution or flexion between the Rubricatus and Lubricato. Rubricatus, red. Rubricatus means red, or painted red with ochre. The color red, particularly red hair, plays a large role in Jewish and Christian history. In video 2, the falling phaeton had auburn hair. The videos will not go into red hair in detail. Rubricatus and the Rubicon. Julius Caesar crossed the Rubricatus, or Rubicon. A future video will identify Julius Caesar as an important biblical figure. The videos will show that Julius Caesar lived in Spain and that Rome, as a major city in Italy, did not exist in the Middle Ages. Llobregat, lubricato, oily. The Llobregat also went by the name Lubricato. The Llobregat, lubricato, oily. Lubricato connotes an oily sense, as in lubricated. Lubricato could also have the meaning of lubricious, referring to a type of person. Lubricious suggests a sense of oiliness and of sexual desire. Lobrec in Catalan. The Cambridge English Catalan Dictionary defines lobrec as dark in a bad way, a small, gloomy room. Llobregat, dark and gloomy. The Routledge Catalan English Dictionary defines Llobrec or Llobrega as dark, gloomy, page 162. Scientists say the water from the Llobregat tastes foul because it contains large quantities of minerals such as potassium and magnesium. From bodies? Barcelona, beyond the Llobregat. Barcelona has many other features that match biblical descriptions of Jerusalem. Let's start with Mount Carmel. Mount Carmel. Strong's Hebrew Concordance 3760 describes Mount Carmel as a mountain promontory on the Mediterranean, also a city near Hebron. Scholars tell us Mount Carmel consists of a coastal mountain range or ridge in northern Israel stretching southeast. Mount Carmel in Israel, according to some. Mount Carmel, Barcelona. Mount Carmel seen from Parque de la Creueta del Col. Photo by Canan, uploaded to Wikipedia May 8, 2009. Mount, not a range of mountains. The Bible describes Mount Carmel as a mount, not as a mountain range. Elijah told Ahab, "Now therefore send and gather to me all Israel onto Mount Carmel, and the prophets of Baal 450, and the prophets of the groves 400, which eat at Jezebel's table." So Ahab sent unto all the children of Israel and gathered the prophets together unto Mount Carmel. 1 Kings 18 through 20. Roman palace. The New Testament describes Jerusalem as having a Roman palace. Then the Jewish leaders took Jesus from Caiaphas to the palace of the Roman governor. By now it was early morning, and to avoid ceremonial uncleanliness, they did not enter the palace because they wanted to be able to eat the Passover. John 18:28. Barcelona has a Roman palace. In the 19th century, during a construction project, workers discovered the Temple of Augustus, buried under Mount Tabor in the old Roman city of Barcelona. Temple of Augustus. Temple of Augustus. Crucifixion at Golgotha. At the Roman governor's palace, the people clamor for Jesus' crucifixion and Pilate consents. Matthew 27:23-26. The New Testament calls the place of Jesus' crucifixion Golgotha, or Golgota in Spanish. Golgotha. And when they were come unto a place called Golgotha, that is to say, a place of a skull, Matthew 27:33. And they bring him on to the place Golgotha, which is, being interpreted, the place of a skull, Mark 15:22. Golgotha, nigh unto the city. This title then read many of the Jews, for the place where Jesus was crucified was nigh to the city, and it was written in Hebrew and Greek and Latin, John 19:20. Golgotha, outside the city gates. Wherefore Jesus also, that he might sanctify the people with his own blood, suffered without the gate, Hebrews 13:12. Golgotha, in a public place. And they compel one Simon, a Cyrenian, who passed by, coming out of the country, the father of Alexander and Rufus, to bear his cross, Mark 15:21. Simon passed by, coming out of the country to the city in a public place where people could seize him. Passers-by mocked Jesus at Golgotha, and they that passed by reviled him, wagging their heads, Matthew 27:30. And they that passed by railed on him, wagging their heads, and saying, Ah, thou that destroyest the temple, and buildest it in 3 days, save thyself, and come down from the cross. Mark 15:29-30. This indicates it happened in public. Carrer del Golgota in Barcelona. Barcelona has its own Carrer del Golgota, or Golgotha Street, near Mount Carmel, outside the Roman gates of Barcelona and nigh on the city. The Carrer del Golgota runs between the Ronda de Dalt and Avinguda de Vallcarca. Carrer del Golgota on map. The little line circled in red coming off the Ronda de Dalt represents the small Carrer del Golgota. Perhaps it ran for a greater distance in medieval times, perhaps to the Roman gates. Carrer del Golgota on map. Notice the Park de la Crueta del Col nearby, just to the right on the map. Mount Carmel. Picture taken from the Park de la Crueta del Col. Val d'Hebron neighborhood. The Carrer del Golgota lies in the Val d'Hebron area of Barcelona. The Carrer del Golgota lies 1.5 kilometers, or less than a mile, from the Hospital Universitari Val d'Hebron. Hebron Valley in Barcelona. The Val d'Hebron neighborhood lies in the Horta Guinardo neighborhood of Barcelona. Golgota and Val d'Hebron area in Barcelona. Val d'Hebron lies in District 7, or Zion, on this map in orange. Notice the Hospitalet de Llobregat and Esplugues de Llobregat to the left of the screen, named after the Kidron River. Mary in southern France. Legends say after the crucifixion, Mary, the mother of Jesus, Mary Magdalene, Martha, Lazarus, and an Egyptian servant named Sarah, the prince or princess, sailed to Provence in southern France. Sailing from Barcelona to Provence makes the legend easier geographically than sailing from modern Israel to Provence. The legends do not begin until the Middle Ages because the events happened in the Middle Ages. Orange, France. Orange, France. Orange, France lies 444 kilometers or 275 miles from Barcelona. Orange, golden angel. Orange means golden angel, or angel of light, or something similar. No English word rhymes with orange. Orange comes to 33 in full reduction gematria, or comes to 33 in English ordinal gematria. Angel of light. Lucifer, angel of light. Lucy means light. Fer means a snake or a viper. Fer also can refer to iron, as in ferro. Fer de lance. Roman city. The old Roman city of Barcelona lies today in District 1 on the Mediterranean by the sea. Golgotha nigh to the city and without the gate. Carrer Golgotha lies nigh to the city and without the gate, about 6 kilometers from the Plaza del Rey. The street may have run a longer distance in the past and come closer to the Roman gates. Carrer Golgotha to Plaza del Rey. This map shows the short 6.1 kilometers or 3.7 mile distance from Carrer Golgotha to the Plaza del Rey, or Plaza of the King. Map of Roman cities and walls. This map shows the walled Roman city of Barcelona. It shows streets and blocks outside the city walls. Mount Tabor with Jordan to the sun rising. The Bible describes Tabor as a place by the coast with the Jordan to the sun rising. And then the coast turneth westward to Asnoth Tabor, and goeth out from thence to Hukkok, and reaches to Zebulun on the south side, and reaches to Asher on the west side, and to Judah upon Jordan toward the sun rising. Joshua 1934. Jordan Po to the sun rising. Barcelona lies on the coast. The sun rises to its east in today's orientation. The Jordan or Po River Valley lies almost directly east of Barcelona toward the sun rising. Mount Tabor in Barcelona. The old city of Barcelona, or Badi Gothique in Catalan, lies on top of the mighty Mount Tabor, a hill towering 16.9 meters or 54.4 feet above sea level. Modern construction makes the hill hard to see, but it arises above other old constructions like the Catedral of Santa Eulalia. Roman Barcelona built on Mount Tabor, 16.9 meters, not 17 or 16.8. If you look at this, you can also see this plaque lies on the meridian of Dunkirk, which the viewer might want to look up. Modern Jerusalem has no coast. Mount Tabor had suburbs. Onto the rest of the children of Merari were given out the tribe of Zebulun, Rimmon with her suburbs, Tabor with her suburbs, 1 Chronicles 6:77. The Roman city had suburbs. This medieval map shows suburbs and streets outside the Roman walls of Barcelona. Spain's mountain ranges. This map shows the Ebro or Hebron Valley in the northeast, with mountains blocking the valley from the southern Spain. The Pyrenees Mountains to the north block the Hebron Valley from France. Strategic Barcelona. Scholars tell us the Romans built Barcelona or Jerusalem in this location because of its strategic importance in the coastal route from the north into the rest of the Iberian Peninsula. Mountain ranges running east to west make the coastal route essential for traveling going north to south. Roman and Crusader sieges of Jerusalem. Historians tell us the Romans laid siege to Jerusalem in 70 AD. People starved to death before the Romans destroyed the city and temple. Historians tell us the Crusaders laid siege to Jerusalem in 1090 AD. People starved to death before the Crusaders destroyed the city and massacred people at the Temple Mount. Thank you for watching. Next 7 videos, Genesis 14. The next 7 videos will discuss Genesis 14. They will match biblical events to events in the 13th century during the Crusades. They will match family names of Crusaders to biblical family names. They will identify place names. Permission to copy and translate. The author permits any human being to copy and rebroadcast this video in whole or in part. The author permits any human being to translate this video into any language.